Hello there, welcome back to my kitchen, and today I've got a treat in store for you. My cheese and onion pie with selected vegetables. So the first thing we're going to do is to get started with the pastry. So let's go through the ingredients that we're going to be using for the pastry. So the ingredients for the pastry is 600 grams of plain flour, which I've run through a sieve, 150 grams of unsalted butter, which I've cubed, 250 millilitres of cold water, a pinch of salt. Now here's where the twist to this pastry comes in. A good pastry is half the fat to the flour. So if you've got 600 grams of flour, you want 300 grams of fat, but I've only got 150 grams of butter. Now here's where the twist comes in, because for the other 150 grams of fat I'm going to be using 150 grams of grated cheddar cheese. So I've got 600 grams of flour, 300 grams of fat. So let's start making the pastry. So to make my pastry, I've got 600 grams of sieved plain flour. I'm going to start by dropping in the cubed butter, which is 150 grams of unsalted butter, which I've cut into cubes. Drop that into there, and I'm going to start working that through. Keep working it through gently like that. Just keep squeezing it with your fingers. What you're looking for is a nice crumbly texture, but we're going to be adding the cheese in a minute as well. So that's the 300 grams of fat. You can use half butter, half lard, or whatever you want to use, but as long as you get half fat to the flour. Okay, so let's drop the cheese in. Drop that in. Give it all a good working through until there's no lumps of cheese or flour, and it's just like a crumbly texture. That's what you're looking for. Right. Once you're happy with that, add the water. So we're going to add a pinch of salt from a great height. Mix that in. I think we're just about ready now to add the water. I'm happy with that. Make a well in the middle. Drop your 250 millilitres of water in there. Just start by using a fork and just mix that water in. Now you don't want to go mad with this. You don't want to mix it too much. And then all you want to do is to bring it together. You don't want to go mad with it. Just bring it all together like that. So you're pressing it down. Just press that down. You can smell the butter. It smells absolutely gorgeous. Just keep bringing it all together. Don't go mad with it. Don't knead it like bread. You know, do it gently. And just keep pressing it down like that. And that's what you're looking for. Like that, so it just holds together like that. And what you're going to do then is you're going to put that into some cling film and put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes to rest. And then you'll be pulling it out and rolling it out for your pie. That's it, just keep pressing it down like that. So I'm happy with that, don't overwork it. It just holds together when you press it down. So we're now going to put that into some cling film and let it rest for 30 minutes. Okay, so the ideal situation is to put it in the fridge for 30 minutes in cling film. We've unfortunately run out, so I'm going to be using tin foil. Hope it does the same thing, it should do. So just get your pastry, roll it into a ball like that, just press it down, wrap it well up. Should be out in cling film. Store that in the fridge for 30 minutes. Once the 30 minutes is up, pull it out of the fridge, let it get back to room temperature so it's nice and easy for rolling out. So the next step after that is to do the filling for the cheese and onion pie, and put it all together, slap it into the oven. So I'll let this rest for 30 minutes and I'll see you in 30 minutes time. So these are my ingredients for the filling for the cheese and onion pie. I've got one large onion which are finely chopped. I've got 200 grams of grated cheddar cheese, salt and black pepper, and 1 egg. So we're going to now start making the filling for the cheese and onion pie. I've just dropped in a tablespoon of olive oil into the pan. I want to get that nice and hot. And then I'm going to add the onions, the finely chopped onions. And we need to, once that gets nice and hot, turn it down to about medium and then slowly cook the onions until they just soften up. You don't want to overcook them, you don't want to brown, anything like that. So just until they start going soft, that's all you need really. So I'm going to put them in there now and get them cooked. So they're just starting to go soft. Okay, I'm happy with them now. Don't want to overcook them. Just don't forget, it's going to go in the oven. So I'm going to turn that off and let them cool right down. In the meantime, get your egg. And beat it up. So the next stage you'll be adding the egg into the onions and the cheese, mixing it all up, and then once you've got your pastry rolled out, dropping it all in and putting it into the oven. Give that a good beating. Now give that onions a few minutes to cool down. You don't want it hot because you don't want the egg to cook. Okay, so let the onions cool right down and then pour the egg into the onions, the cheese into the onions, give it all a good mix in and then drop it into your pastry. So I'll come back in a few minutes. Right, so I'll tip my cooked onions into a bowl and let them cool down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tip my grated cheese into there, 200 grams. I'm going to tip the beaten egg into there. I'm going to add a touch more salt from a great height. Another helping of black pepper. And then you need to mix all that in. Okay, get it all mixed in nicely. And that is the mixture to go into the pastry. So the next step is to roll out the pastry, add the mixture, and then slap it into the oven. Okay, so I've got my pastry. It's now back at room temperature. It's nice and soft, ready for rolling. I'm going to cut that in half. So I'll have half for the bottom and half for the top. So I'll put the other half away for now. And now we're going to roll this out. Okay. Let's get that out. That's going to be a nice crumbly pastry, this. Now how thick you roll it out is entirely up to how thick you want it. It's down to your own liking at the end of the day. But it is a cheese and onion pie, so I want it fairly thick. Now I've got an old plate that we use for baking, which is this plate here. So you're going to measure that. That should be perfect. Okay. Now let's get that onto the plate. So that's the bottom bit done. And now we need to roll out the top bit. Now the top bit will need to be bigger, obviously, to go over the top of it. So that's the bottom bit done and put onto the plate ready. Now we'll start rolling out the top bit. Okay, that should be big enough to go for over the top of it. Now the top is a little bit thinner than the bottom. Okay, so next thing we need to do is to add the filling into the bottom bit. Okay, so this is our filling that we created earlier. We're going to drop this in. That's the filling, so just spread it around like that, leaving enough room to seal the pastry around the edges. Now what I'm going to do is to put the lid onto there, hopefully without it breaking. That's it. So that's the lid on. What you need now is a knife. What I'm going to do here is just to trim the edges of the pastry like this. Not easy, you know, filming while you're cooking, doing your own filming while you're cooking. It's alright for Jamie Oliver and all them, they've got a camera crew. I've got to do all this all on my own. Anyway, stop moaning, so keep trimming it. That's all that done. You can save that pastry if you want, make something else with it. Now what you want to do now is you want to, here I've got a beaten egg, and what I want to do is to just lift up the pastry around the edges. This will seal the pastry, and just wet the bottom one with the egg, and this will stop the cheese from running out of the pie. Okay, all the way around. Once you've added the egg, fold your pastry back over, and just using your thumb and your finger, just press around the edges like that, and that will seal the top and bottom pastries together. And then once you've done that, one more final trim. And then all you need to do then, just put a couple of little slits in the top, so let the steam out. And brush the top of your pastry with the egg. Give it a good brushing all over. That'll give it a nice golden colour. Now with this I'm going to be doing boiled potatoes, new potatoes, battered carrots to go with it. This will go into the oven at 200 degrees, 180 fan. Can't remember what the gas mark is, just check it out on Google. I think it might be 6 gas mark or something like that. For about 20 to 30 minutes, just keep your eye on it. I would say 25 minutes or something like that, but just keep your eye on it. So that's the pie done, ready to go into the oven. So what I'm going to do now is prepare my vegetables. Once the vegetables go on, the pie will go into the oven. And you can use this pastry, whatever's left over, whatever you want, jam tarts, whatever you want, anything like that. So that's it, that's the pie done. Whew. So there we go, we've got everything sorted. I'm having a sneaky brew. I've got my carrots on boil, my battered carrots. I've got my new potatoes on the boil. I've I've preheated the top oven to 200 degrees electric. If you're using a fan oven, 180. I'm going to put the pie in on the middle shelf. And that's going to be baking for 25 to 35 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. So once that 25 minutes is up, we'll take the pie out, dish out, sit down and get stuck in. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so my pie has been in the oven for 30 minutes. Potatoes are ready, the carrots are ready. So let's get the pie out. And there you have my cheese and onion pie. So I shall now plate up and sit down and enjoy it. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please click on like and subscribe. It is hard to do these videos while I'm cooking at the same time. So just show your appreciation please by clicking on subscribe and like it if you like the video. Watch out for my next video, which will be apple crumble with homemade custard. Really nice. And thanks for watching.